Hello degenerates, and welcome back to another Smash Ultimate Guide. Today we're going to be kicking off a brand new series called Obtuse Concepts, and in this case we're going to be looking on how to play on a specific stage with Duck Hunt. In this case, it's going to be Battlefield. Before we talk about the guide itself, let's brush up on a couple of topics that we need to be familiar with before we continue on. First, we need to talk about our projectiles. Now, the first projectile we'll talk about is Can. The main reason you're going to be using Can is Can will be your primary method for controlling your opponents and the stage. It's able to act as a permanent wall against projectiles, it's able to cover rolls, jumps, air dodges, and it's able to enhance your defensive game in a number of remarkable ways. Next projectile we're going to be talking about is the Clay Pigeon. Now, Clay Pigeon is not going to be a move that you're using a lot. It is not good for neutral and it can be very punishable. However, it's easily one of the most underexplored aspects of Duck Hunt gameplay in general. The big thing is the changes that came with the Clay Pigeon, reduced end lag, and also when you break it apart, it has those particle hitboxes, and when you detonate it, it will have those particle hitboxes. The Clay Pigeon itself will be able to last for 3 seconds on stage, and with that time, you can set up a very effective mine with it, given that you have the time to set it up. The last projectile we'll talk about are the Gunmen. So Gunmen are the most straightforward projectile to use out of all the ones that we talked about. They can be used to either cover about half of FD with their shot, with the exception of the Sombrero Gunman, or they can be used as a permanent wall to absorb projectiles, or as an assist with their attack. The bullet themselves can lead to an action force, so this can force them to either shield or jump, and then if they end up getting hit by it, that'll either set up for a combo, or if they're at a late enough percent, they'll be able to just die straight up by getting hit by the Gunman. Now with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the stage. The Triplatform layout of Battlefield is one of the best layouts Duck Hunt can utilize in Ultimate. By standing underneath the side platforms, he is able to set up an extremely tight wall that is very hard to penetrate. By placing a can on top of the platform and setting up gunmen, you can have virtually every option covered. You can also cover approaches with fair, dash back pivot grab, or CP depending on the circumstances. From that point on, you can also shark the platforms to start some combos or get the kill. Most of these concepts do apply to Yoshi's Story Melee as well, however there will be a little add-on section at the end covering the differences. As mentioned before, you generally want to stay underneath the lower platform. Being here allows you to easily create lanes that you can clog out with projectiles and make it extremely easy to manipulate how your opponent can move. The lanes here are broken into 2 parts. Lane 1 is going to be the base of the stage, and this is going to cover the ground and short hop movement. Lane 2 is going to be everything above the lower platforms, which is mostly going to cover the platforms and the full hop movement as well. Platforms end up covering a lot of aerial approaches, as falling with a lingering aerial will get stopped by a platform. An aerial has to be executed by dropping through a platform and throwing out an attack as soon as the platform is cleared. This means you can guarantee that no attack from lane 2 will hit you, which allows Duck Hunt to shark extremely well in this position. Characters with slow aerials will generally only be able to hit Duck Hunt underneath a platform by approaching with a short hop. From here, we'll talk about the 2 positions you should generally place the can. Can on platform is mostly used as a way to deter aerial approaches and as a combo extender. This position allows for easy pings towards jumping opponents and easy throws or fairs into can. This position also allows you to drop the can on top of anyone trying to approach from dashing as well, which would be from lane 1. If the opponent ends up anchoring the can up here, remember, you can jump behind it for instant safety from projectiles. Cannon front plays a lot like it would on FD. Since there are no platforms near the center of the stage, this will generally discourage grounded approaches and make the opponent retreat, jump, or attack the can. Their methodology for dealing with the can will generally tell you what type of player they are. To ensure an opponent is unable to run under the can during a ping it twice when launching. By doing this, the opponent will always run into it. Generally speaking, this isn't going to be a move you're using in neutral. Only go for it when you've set up excellent coverage or have a read that you really want to go for. Most of the time this move will be reserved for advantage state, as Battlefield provides a lot of interesting ways to utilize the projectile. Clay Pigeon in the advantage state will be discussed more later on. This will be covered in the advantage part of the guide. If Clay Pigeon bounces off a shield and ends up at center stage, be on the lookout for their jump. Generally speaking, a lot of people love to jump to the areas Clay Pigeon covers, so be on the lookout for this opening. Clay Pigeon can also land on the side platforms, and when it does, remember, it'll be a landmine that you can detonate within 3 seconds. Lastly, we have the Wild Gunman. You will pretty much only be using this to help you set up against projectile characters. Gunman will act as a big defensive wall that makes it almost impossible for any projectiles to hit you. The only other times Gunman should be used is when you need to cover a landing or approach. If you're approaching, however, you should make sure you have a can set up. Once you juggle your opponent, make sure you're able to cover as many platforms as possible. Throw the can to cover one platform, and cover the other platforms with Duck Hunt. This means there is no safe area for your opponent to land. This is the area that Clay Pigeon gets the most use. When placed on a platform, it can hit standing opponents that are higher than Toon Link. When time allows, full hop soft toss Clay Pigeon underneath a platform to make it land on the opposite side in the same position. This will allow you to plant CP as a mine to cover the platform. Nope, the shots cover about half the platform length. An important thing to note is that there are some characters that can low profile the Clay Pigeon with their dash. This includes characters like Joker, Sheik, Marcina, Croy, Corrin, Cloud, Inkling, and Fox. Detonation can lead to more shield pressure, area denying, and set up a kill or a combo. Doing a soft toss Clay Pigeon from the inner side of the platform will lead it straight to the edge, which is the perfect distance for it to be set up for a ledge guard. The matchup determines whether you should go for an edge guard setup or a ledge guard. If it is too hard to edge guard them, set up a ledge trap. If they like to recover high, then place a can on either the side platform or the top platform to minimize their landing options. When you're in disadvantage and you have to land, utilize B-reversing and wave bouncing. You can slip through the platform gaps very easily, and the platforms generally provide an extra layer of safety when landing. Use the appropriate projectile for the situation. When recovering to the ledge on Battlefield, there are two techniques you can utilize. For one thing, you can actually wall jump off the stage. This can lead to early SDs out of your up B, but it can also add extra height and mix-ups for your recovery. To avoid the SDs, practice the spacing and timings for this in training mode. Duck Hunt also has the ability to recover below the stage for a mix-up. Changing the lead you recover to can minimize the punish you can receive, and forces the opponent to guess which options you're going to use. Generally speaking, it's better to wait and see what they plan to do once you reach the ledge. While Yoshi's Story does utilize a tri-platform layout like Battlefield, there are a couple of key differences you need to know. The first thing to note is that the bottom platforms are taller, making it easier for projectiles to slip through your wall. You can also utilize the slants on the stage to help low profile under a lot of moves. The blast zones are also smaller, which makes it easier to kill or be killed on this stage. With these smaller blast zones, Duck Hunt does have a 0 to death off the top. The stage also has walls which can allow for easier wall jumps, but it can make it easier to edgeguard Duck Hunt in certain matchups just like Villager or Mega Man. Alrighty, now with all of that out of the way, thank you guys so much for completing the guide on the tri-platform layouts. We will be doing more stage guides like this, and we will have different obtuse concepts coming out. Of course, we're going to be focusing on Duck Hunt and then King K. Rool, because they both have a lot of weird, interesting tech that kind of takes a little bit to explain. It's not really straightforward and easy to understand, so I definitely do look forward to do more of these. But please let me know down in the comments below, do you like these more heavily edited videos, or do you prefer my old freestyle videos that I did, just basically ripping off the stream that I had with some very minor edits done in there? If I do the old method, it will be a lot easier for me to get these guides out quick and easy. However, with these, I do feel like the information is presented better overall, and I do hope the effort was worth it. I know I said I was going to get this out a lot earlier, but there are all these things that are going on currently. It did set me back a decent amount when I was trying to put this together, but I hope you guys were able to find this useful. Please subscribe, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you like the old version better. Always, if you do want to support me or if you want to support Duck Hunt people in general, check out the Duck Hunt Discord shop. If you do buy anything from Coasting, that will go towards the artist that worked on that shirt itself. So please, please, please go out and support them. If you get the other ones, that will support me. And then also, I am going to be trying to stream more Twitch. Not exactly sure what the schedule is going to be, but remember, every single Monday will always be the critique stream. So, with all that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next ones, and take care of yourselves until then.